Good morning. Today we're going to go over the Queries 1 West Virginia Synod problem. We're going to look at creating single table and multiple table queries, how to sort on one field, multiple fields, and finally how to do a select query. We need to remind you that this assignment requires the Windows version of Microsoft Office. You'll either need the Mac VM or Windows to complete this. You're going to need to have access. For this assignment, you'll need to download the data files from your instructor's website and then extract the file and begin to work. I've already got it downloaded. I'm going to right-click on the file. I'm going to pick Extract All. And I'm going to double-click and open. Close the dialog box there. Scroll down. And just a couple of things as we begin. We've opened the Synod table and we're going to create queries to provide the information requested below. In each query, the first sentence is going to describe what is in the query, and you may want to highlight that because then you know what's in the query and it makes it easier to answer the analysis questions. The second sentence forward describes how to put the query together. So, for example, in query A, where we're going to create a single table query, we want to list each district, the year, political party, the party abbreviation, the candidate's first and last name, the amount of funds raised by the candidate, and the votes received by the candidate. The way we do this is we create a query design. That's what we want to use. The Add Table dialog box is going to come up. It may come up as a box in the center of your screen. In this, it's come up as a dialog box on the side. I'm going to choose the candidates table, and we'll see if that's a correct table. You always have to stop and evaluate. So the way I can find out if it's the correct table is I look at the list of fields that he has. District and year I see right away. Political party abbreviation is there. Candidate's first and last name is there. The amount raised is there, as well as the votes received. So we're okay. It's important that I put the fields in the order that they are listed. In this case, that's simple because it's the same order. I'm going to close the Add Tables dialog box. At the end of the query, he says I should have 7 fields, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's great. I can run the query, and I see down here that I've got 250 records. So I know I'm in good shape. I can hit the Save button up here, and I'll type Query 3A after the step name. When you're done with a query, you should close it, because if you leave queries open, it can cause collisions with other tables and other requests that you might have. So it's always good practice to close. Let's go ahead to the second query, which is similarly easy. We're going to go to Create. We're going to click Query Design, and we are going to again bring up a single table. It looks like this time we're going to work with elections. And again, I expand the table box so that I can see everything, and then I usually close this after I'm done. In this case, we need the year, district, winner's first and last name, the percentage of total votes received by the winner, and it looks like we've got all those. They're slightly out of order this time, so we go to year first because that's what was asked for first. Then district, we go to the winner's first and last name and the percentage. We have 5 fields. You can see there are 5 fields here, and we're asked to sort by the election year. So on this sort line, we pick ascending. Anytime you're asked to sort, you want to work from the left to the right. If we had been asked to sort by the winner's last name, then the year, we would have needed to take this field and move it over ahead of year because the access works from left to right. So in this case, we've got our 5 fields. We run. There are 136 records, and you can see we're sorted by year. Everything's in order. This time I'm going to right-click and choose Save, and type Query 3B. Close it up as a best practice, and then we're going to go to a slightly harder query. We're going to go to Query Design, and we need to pick out multiple tables on this one. In this case, it looks like he's calling for the districts table and the elections table. So I pull up districts, double click on elections. And for some reason, I'm not seeing the relationship, so let me pause and fix that. Had a glitch, I'm back, and they are related. So as I always do, I expand so that you can see everything. It's really kind of important to be able to see all of the fields. Now, the question I frequently get is district shows up in both tables. Which one do I choose? The short answer is it doesn't matter. The long answer is, for me, I typically tend to pull most of my fields from one table. Since district is over there, I'm going to do that. And then I'll simply pull counties only from the districts table. But you should feel free to do a little bit different because it doesn't matter. So in this case, I'll pull district in first. Then I pull year. Excuse me. I need the counties in the district. That's over in the districts table uniquely. I believe I need the incumbent's first and last name. I need the winner's first and last name. And I need if the incumbent retired. Now I'm going to close the Add Table dialog box. I'm going to count down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm good. He'd like me to sort by district first, and then by year. Whoops, I did it. Yeah, there we go. Make sure it's ascending. This should have 8 fields. We've already counted that, and 136 records. We've got the 136 records. You can see it right there at the bottom. So I will save, and I will call it Query 3C. Whoops. Make sure you save it in the right place. In this case, I inadvertently saved it, and this is a good object lesson. You can go to rename. It's open, so you can go to rename after you close it and choose to rename. One thing you want to be careful of is name the queries the way they are supposed to be named, the way your instructor expects them to be named, because if you have worked them out of order, perhaps you've given them names other than the ones assigned, it could be difficult for us to figure out which is which. So that's a good lesson there. There are 2 remaining queries. One is a Sql query and one is a Sql query that we have to fix something. Sql queries are very easy. All you have to do is highlight the text you're given, copy it. In this case, I'm using Internet Explorer, so it lets me right-click. You go to Create, and you create a query design. I always close the Add Table because we're not going to use that dialog box, and you click Sql. You want to make sure you have a completely empty box, so I deleted the one select word that was in there, and now I'm going to paste in the text from over here. I click Run, and it should run perfectly. You don't want to make any changes in the SQL code. You're going to have 136 records, which you can see at the bottom you do, and you are going to have 6 fields, which we do. So you want to save it, Query 3D. Close it. Now the next one is slightly more complicated because we've introduced an error to it. However, that error is very valuable for you to experience because it's one that you would likely see on your own. Let me copy the SQL code. Got the whole thing. I'm going to go over and create. Click Query Design. I'm going to get rid of the tables box and I'm going to hit SQL. I'm going to paste my information in. Now, what's going to happen is the provided query will prompt for missing value. It's going to tell you there is a parameter error or a parameter value missing. What that tells us is that Access is looking for something that it can't find. So let's look and see what it can't find. It says enter parameter value, and it tells us elections, incumbent retiring. What that is saying is it's looking for the table election, and the field incumbent retiring. If we click OK, it will proceed, but that's not what we want. You notice this incumbent retiring field is left blank. Well, it was in elections, so let's go look and see what's going on. In elections, the incumbent retiring field is actually called incumbent retired. So we've made a typo in our code. So we'll just go back, close elections. Sure. We're going to go up here and choose the SQL view. And we're going to change the code from incumbent retiring to incumbent retired. That way it can find the correct field, run it, and it's good. Let's right-click, save, call it Query 4E, close it up, and we will close the database and be good. One thing that it does call for at the very end is to run compact and repair. If you run into any errors, you should ignore them. I'm going to do that. That makes it neat and easy to submit. It reduces the size of the file. You would then close it and submit. If you have any questions, be sure to check with your instructor. Thank you very much.